Hi, everybody.
Hello there.
Jerry.
Linda and Gizmo.
We're the Villages Newcomers. Just want you to know she's not crying. She's laughing.
I've been laughing.
We started off a little shaky on this video, and this is take 3. So she's had a good laugh. Today's a special day.
Yeah.
It's her birthday.
Yeah, she's old today.
She's not old. Look at her. She looks great.
Getting older by the minute.
But the best thing about today is she qualifies for every single senior citizen discount on the planet. Anyway, a big happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And we're going to try to make it a special day. And it is a special day. It's Mailbag Monday.
Yep.
We're going to talk about some issues here in the Villages. But before we get started, this was on the Nextdoor app. I know some of you know what the Nextdoor app is. It's a great source of information for folks and gossip and lots of other things too. But this was on there the other day, and it says, "Thank you for finding my driver's license. I was on the golf cart path south of 44 this afternoon, and somehow I lost my driver's license. I wasn't very concerned because I have faith in my fellow villagers, and I knew whoever found it would return it. And sure enough, within 2 hours of our excursion, someone left the license at my front door. Oh. Thank you very much to the Good Samaritan who went out of their way to deliver my license. It's great to live in the Villages." And
very nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
But it's not uncommon. And I just wanted to throw that out there because this is a wonderful place to live as far as the people go.
Yeah.
So nice. We share. There's a lot of givers here. People ask us about charities and donating time and things like that. And you're going to find no shortage of that here, as well as honest people. And just wanted to start off with a positive thing like that.
This is from Rob in St. Charles, Missouri. He wants to know, at what point do the Village Newcomers no longer stay the Village Newcomers?
That's a good question. One we have gone over and over in our minds. We're in our 3rd year here now.
Crazy.
We just had our 2-year anniversary. We've been here for 3 Christmases.
Yes.
We're still learning every day, so we're not old timers by any means, but are we newcomers? We're given advice every day, although I always remind people, don't take our advice at 100%, verify, research, and that kind of thing. But we've talked about it, and you have an idea about the newcomers
Well,
now.
I think that maybe we're not the newcomers, but maybe you're the newcomers. So this is for you all. You all are the newcomers.
Right, when people come here, they're going to be new.
Yeah.
So our advice, hopefully, is helpful to you, and therefore our page, the newcomers page.
Come on down.
This is from Mike. Mike says, "Jerry, thank you for recommending the card heater. Just one more question, though. The manual says disconnect the LP cylinder when not in use. Do you do this?" No, I don't. You're probably supposed to. I never read the manuals.
No, he does not.
I'm going to show you that card heater, though. You didn't have to say that so authoritatively.
Okay, well, what man likes to read those things?
This is the card heater, Mr. Heater. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you, we did not get this free. We did not get it at a discount.
No.
We paid for it. We're not partners with Mr. Heater. We're showing you this because we want you to enjoy your cart ride on the cold days. And there are some cold days.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it does get cold. The last week, or right before Christmas, it was in the 30s. And it's going to dip down again next week. So, yeah.
It's big and bulky. It's tipsy, but it has prongs to put in your cup holder, and they spread out and hold it snug. Once in a while, I've had to put wedges in there to hold it as snug as we like because it doesn't get red hot, but it gets pretty darn hot.
Yes.
And you don't want to touch it when it's on. So you want to position this in a convenient place where you won't be touching it, and you certainly don't want it to fall over when you're riding. But it does have a safety switch that if it falls over, it will shut off, but not until it puts a nice little brand design on your leg or arm.
Yeah, that
so
would not be good.
don't let it tip over. It's handy. It comes without a gas cylinder. You buy a gas cylinder like that somewhere. I think Walmart has them, and
Camping supplies.
lots of places have
Yeah.
it. So you can buy that. You start it with the push of a button. It has a thermocouple, I believe, just like a gas fireplace would. And it'll put out heat in no time. There's no control for the heat. It's just on or off.
Yeah.
And
And
we often have to open the back window.
Right, it gets very hot. So you may want to just turn it on for a little while, then turn it off, and then your whole area is toasty.
Yeah, we don't use it very often, only when the temperature would be in the 30s and we're driving that car, or maybe in the low 40s, because it gets cool when you're riding that car, that wind coming in. Of course, we put the sides down, turn this on. We are more than toasty, believe me. So, Mike, thanks for your question. We leave it on. Nancy and Michael want to know if we have our own police station in the Villages. I don't know. I know that there are 3 counties that encompass the Villages. There's Lake and Sumter and what? Marion County. And they have their own law enforcement departments, and we see their cars all the time. I've never seen anything that said Villages Police Department or anything like this. So I'm going to say no, we probably don't. There might be a satellite office near the Villages, and I think there are a couple
Stations.
yeah, stations of some sort, but no, we don't have our own police department. We do have a community watch, which is very reassuring because I will see him go past here multiple times a day and night. I mean, we see him at night every night. And they will also do such things as if you leave your garage door open, they'll call you just to say, hey, you might have forgotten and left your garage door open, because you don't want to do that, right? Sometimes people don't keep their house door to the garage locked. If you forget to shut that garage door, you keep it open, you've got an entry point. So they don't want that to happen. So they're nice enough to let us know. And they watch out for situations, and we appreciate that. But a police department of our own? I don't think so. Okay. Chris and Sue write in. They want to know if we had any friends or family living in the Villages before we moved here. They said they figured that we would make friends after moving here, but did we already have any? The answer to that would be no.
No, not really.
No with an asterisk.
Yeah. One of our sons had a friend, then his parents live here. And then we also had our daughter-in-law's family lives here. So we do have 2 families that we know.
But we didn't know that when we moved here.
Not really.
We did not know it until we came down for our lifestyle visit, that our oldest son's buddy, close buddy, his parents lived here, and they were helpful to us. In fact, they were the ones that we asked to come through this house and give us their opinion of it when we were on the telephone with them to see if they liked it. Was it worth our time and effort to look at it?
Right.
And so we made friends with them quickly, and they're great people. We didn't know that my second son, my middle son's mother-in-law, lives here, and that's neat. So we didn't have any, but we do now, and we sure appreciate them. Sometimes we get letters from people with funny names or odd names or anonymous people on the internet, right? Fuel for Us writes in and wants to know if you could change one item in the bylaws or deed restrictions here in the Villages, what would it be and why?
Well, I don't know. I kind of like the deed restrictions. I like that we don't have a lot of yard pollution to look at, because it could get out of hand.
Some people are going to think that was a snooty comment.
Well, maybe so, but I like the restrictions.
You know what, I do too, and I come from a place where, I had a wood shop. I had stacks of lumber outside my wood shop. We had we had a pergola. We had all sorts of freestanding things. I had a shed. We had a 3-car garage in our back. A lot of things that wouldn't be allowed here. And I loved those when I had them. But we also had some places in our area that people would put debris in their yards and old junk and, that yard art that some people love that other people don't. And here it's all regulated, and it's only forcibly removed if your neighbors complain. If nobody complains, you don't have a situation. So most everybody has something in their yard probably that wouldn't be allowed by the rules. And I like that fact that if it's subtle, if it contributes to your house, if you love it. But we got a letter the other day from someone that said they actually moved because their neighbor had obnoxious wind chimes. I like wind chimes. She loves wind chimes.
Love them.
But I wouldn't put them out here because we see other homes and it may bother these people.
Yeah.
So we do most of our living inside in our house. If we had a house with a bird cage and a pool and a big patio, maybe overlooking a golf course, we'd do more things outside. But it doesn't matter for us. We don't have to have our wind chimes. But that's one thing that she would change. She would like to have wind chimes.
I would like to have my wind chimes.
But you have to be considerate. One inconsiderate neighbor can spoil it for a lot of people.
Yeah. Two of our great viewers, Adam and Christy, write, how often do you leave the bubble, or and for what reasons?
The bubble is the Villages. You know, that's a nickname for the
Right.
Villages.
We're giving them treats.
We opened a pack of hot dogs, and one of those hot dogs looked like it had a bite out of it. And I'm serious. I mean, it looked like you just went. So anyway, I'm giving him little bits of that hot dog to keep him interested. Because he's sleepy today, and he didn't really want to sit in on Mailbag
He's
Monday.
been pawing my back.
Yeah.
Give me more. Okay. Anyway,
But
how often
the
do
bubble.
we leave?
The bubble is what they call it, for more reasons than one. It's contained in a way. Some people feel it's sheltered. Some people feel it's not the real world, but it is. It is, and it's surrounded by Wildwood and Leesburg and Fruitland Park and Lady Lake. These are all little towns close by, and they all have something to offer. So we go there. We can't take our golf carts to some of those places.
Right.
So we leave. How often? She's been in the car today, haven't you?
I did go, but
She went in the car today somewhere with a friend.
Yes, I just went down to Brownwood, but that's not far, and we could have gone golf cart, but
Chilly this morning.
it was a little bit cool.
So you went in the car.
Right.
We're going to eat after a while, birthday dinner, and we'll take the car just so it'll be a little more comfortable. But we're not going to leave the Villages. We're going to eat down in Brownwood tonight.
So how often do we leave?
We go to and a lot of these places that we have to drive are actually in the Villages. They're just not handy to get by golf cart. So, gosh, we don't leave very often, do we?
No, and so tell the viewers how long the Villages are. I mean, acreage
Why
wise.
don't you tell them?
I don't know. It's large.
It's hard to figure out, and whatever I tell you today won't be true tomorrow. It's going
No.
to be like 3 miles bigger tomorrow.
Yeah.
The old Villages, I think, was something like, and again, this is going to be wrong, 10 to 12 miles from north to south,
Yeah.
and 3 or 4 miles east to west.
Right. And everything we need is really here.
Well, not everything. You know, there's a Home Depot, but you have to go all the way on the other side of 441 to get to it. You can never, ever, ever do that by golf cart.
No.
You know, and our hospitals, for example, the ones that our insurance would take, they're not within 20 miles of here, so we would have to get in a car to go there. There are lots of hospitals here. There are lots of ERs around here. There are lots of urgent cares around here, but none of those took our insurance, so we had to go a little further away. But we leave here maybe 2 or 3 times a week to go somewhere. It could be for recreation or it could be for something we need, but we'll get in the car and have to leave the Villages.
Yeah.
Where did we go today? Oh, we left today. Yesterday we went to look at some patio furniture, and we had to go to Wildwood, just outside.
Right.
So I'm going to say we leave the Villages 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
At most.
At most.
Ann and Rich have a question. They're 57 and 58, and they want to know about long-term care insurance. Their financial advisor strongly suggested that they buy into that. The problem is it's really expensive, they say. Well, of course your financial advisor is going to ask you to get it because they want you to live forever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know about that. We don't have it.
No, we don't.
We don't have it. So anything we would tell you would be a guess. I did have a friend that was considering getting it, and he researched it, and he said that his advisor told him it was not a good investment. So You have to do your own research on that and figure out if it's for you.
So another viewer asks, where do all the Villages clubs meet?
Who said that?
It's from .com Mom.
Well, another internet name. .com Mom. Well, you're probably...
Well, I think a lot of the clubs will meet at the rec centers, and some of them actually meet at I've heard, at the Villages High School.
Rec centers, high school. Well, the golf cart drill team meets in parking lots scattered around every
That's true.
which way.
Yeah.
The ukulele club meets at a rec center.
Or at the squares. We have some dancing clubs that will meet at the squares.
Biking clubs just meet out on the open road. And, I mean, it just depends what the
Yeah, what
and
club.
the kite flyers clubs. I mean, they're at the polo fields, but they could also be at the Everglades. Or
Yeah.
And what about bird watcher clubs? Where do the birds know where to go for that club?
No.
They meet where the clubs decide to meet.
Yeah.
Hector wants to know about the pickleball courts. How far away do you have to be from the courts to not hear them? That's something when you come here that if you do your homework, people will say, don't live by the pickleball courts. They'll drive you crazy. Linda knows that sound, right?
Yes. Ta-kong, 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 ta-kong. But you know what? You might be able to YouTube that pickleball, and then you can hear it. You can actually hear the sounds, probably. Something.
Or you could maybe be hypnotized into love that sound.
There you go.
I like that idea. I've thought about this, and I have actually listened when we're near courts, and you can be pretty close and not hear them. But I think it depends on which way the wind blows, how many houses are between you and the pickleball courts. But I don't think you'd have to be too far away to escape that sound. Plus, if you hang out in the back of your house and the pickleball courts are that way, I don't think you're going to hear them near as much as if they were out in that direction.
Right.
Just do your own research, Hector. But I can see where that could be obnoxious if you lived right next to it and you wanted to lay out and you had to hear that. But I'll bet it's like the train that runs by your house.
You start to, you're immune to it.
Yeah,
or
you
you
get
don't
used to
hear
it.
it. You get used to it.
Mary and Bill Dietz wrote us quite a lengthy question concerning people that work for the Villages and the school system here. And they wanted to know basically who can send their children to the Villages schools. And if they do so and are terminated from their employment, do their kids have to leave the school?
Wow, good question.
Good question. I did not know. I mean, I knew a little bit, just enough to be dangerous like usual. So I called somebody that did know. And I'm not going to go into exactly the details, but in a nutshell, there are stipulations for who can go to the Villages schools. And they start with employment. And for example, people that work for the family that developed the Villages, and then people that work at companies that lease land and their business operates on Villages property, and other people that work within the Villages, etc. And their children are eligible to go to this very, very fine school here in the Villages, a charter school. And the children can go there and enjoy a quality education as long as their parent works for one of those categories. And in the event that the parent would stop working in a category, the child would no longer be eligible to go to that school. There is a new school in the plans. It's going to be built down south in the southern end, and it's going to be pretty magnificent. It's going to be an example to other schools, and it's hoping to attract people to come and live here and work here in the Villages, and it's supposed to be really nice. So we'll look forward to that. That's going to be somewhere down south of Finney. Yeah. So we'll have to wait for that. You can get more information from the Villages. Check their website
and look up the school. It's a fine school. I
That's
hear a
a
lot
really
of
good school.
wonderful things about that school.
Yeah.
And this is from Frank from Chicago. He asks, do homeowners insurance policy cover sinkhole damages, and how are non-repairable home claims settled? I don't know.
Question for your insurance person. I wouldn't want to give you any kind of advice on that, but I will tell you that most people here have insurance that would cover sinkhole damage. There's another and there's a lot of legalese and terms, but there's sinkhole damage, and that covers a certain type of ground effect, and another one called catastrophic ground collapse, and that covers something different. And you want to make sure that you have coverage, or you may want to make sure that you have coverage for both of those things. Basically, sinkhole insurance is going to cover damage to your house, in my understanding, but not to your yard, and maybe not to your pool or your bird cage, your sidewalk. I know there are also sometimes riders and special additions you can get to policies, but there have been some issues in the northern part of the Villages with a couple of sinkholes. And that's another thing about sinkholes. Everybody thinks that Florida is riddled with sinkholes. They're everywhere. Well, I know if it happens to you, it's very concerning. We've gone looking for sinkholes and we've had trouble finding them. I'm gonna knock on some wood right now because I don't want to find one, but they're not as common as people tend to think they are. But check with your insurance person. I believe that insurance down here, if we had a sinkhole, it would cover the repairs. There might be a hefty deductible. Again, check with your insurance. I'm not thrilled with my insurance down here. Our insurance. It went up about $400 this year, and we didn't have a claim. You know, and then they will give you Florida had a lot of claims. A lot of people got new roofs, you know, because there was wind damage or hail damage or whatever. And so, you know, I don't know about that. If they have a long string of no issues, does everybody's policy go down? I don't think so. I don't think it does. But anyway, ours went up quite a bit. And you can add flood insurance. So, I mean, there are lots of little riders you can add on, whether it's hurricane or flood or sinkhole or whatever, but we don't know the particulars on any of those.
No, we don't.
Yeah, just check with your insurance agent. Better yet, check with a whole bunch of insurance agents and compare the costs of these prices and the deductibles and find one that's best for you.
This wraps up our Mailbag Monday. I hope you got some answers to questions that were on your mind. Until next time.
See you when you get here.